This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 10th day of July in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly today dragged the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority over the coals due to its failure to submit its financial statement for 2022 to the Office of the Auditor General in keeping with the statutory deadline. Statutorily, government agencies are expected to submit their financial statements to the Audit Office by the end of February. However, the NDIA is among 8 statutory bodies under the Ministry of Agriculture that have failed to submit their financial statements on time, with some dating back to as far as 2015. Today, the NDIA felt the brunt of the criticism as the PAC, chaired by Opposition Member of Parliament Jermaine Figuera, met at the public buildings to consider the audit report for the Ministry of Agriculture for 2019. Opposition Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal told the committee that it is unacceptable for the authority to be consistently late with its financial statements when it continues to receive billions of dollars of taxpayer money. In 2022, the NDIA received more than $12 billion in the national budget.
Billions of dollars are budgeted and allocated to NDIA yearly. As you rightly said, in 2022's budget, it was 12 billion. We are looking at 2019 here, 5.6 billion. And every year it keeps growing. But we need to ensure that we have accountability and transparency in a timely manner for these monies. And I am finding it difficult to accept that it's a work in progress, knowing that these offices have been existing for years. So I believe it needs to stop being a work in progress and really and truly zone in into putting these measures in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency.
The acting chief executive officer of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, Dave Hicks, told the committee that the process of verifying the authority's assets across the country is stalling the submission of the financial report to the audit office.
We operate in 10 regions, and part of the financial assessment will include what we call asset verification. And this requires the office who's performing the works to visit each and every piece of equipment throughout the country, from region 1, 7, 9. So that process is more of a lengthy time. It depends on the weather and so on, and that's generally where we're getting delayed.
He said with the exception of Region 6, the NDIA does not have administrative staff in the other regions, only technical personnel. And it is for that reason that the administrative officer would have to travel region to region to verify the authority's assets. Though not admitting that the NDIA is understaffed, Mr. Hicks, in response to a series of questions posed by MP Mahipal, underscored the need for the Drainage and Irrigation Authority to be further decentralized through the creation of additional offices in the regions. He says such a move would fast-track the process of compiling its financial statements. But Mr. Hicks' explanation did not sit well with Government Chief Whip Gil Teixeira and Member of Parliament Dharam Kumar Siraj, who both inquired about whether or not there was an asset register in place. It was explained that while the NDIA has a register of the assets, there is still need for verification. That register is expected to be handed over to the Public Accounts Committee within 2 weeks. Financial statements are outstanding for the National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute, NARI, the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, the Mahika Maikoni Abari Agricultural Development Authority, the Guyana Marketing Corporation, the Hope Coconut Estate, and the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuku. Once submitted by February, the financial statements are expected to be audited by the Auditor General by the 30th of April of each year for the previous year. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord! I just love to shop in this store. My customers them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Are you looking for the best high school education at affordable fees? Then register your child today at the VYC Academy. Now enrolling grades 7, 8, and 9 students for the 2023-2024 academic year. VYC Academy, achieving academic excellence. For more information, call us on 227-1013 or WhatsApp us at 613-4806.
Strong and solid in countries far and wide. New India Assurance, we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 2260415-7. Comfortable parking available.
With the worrying crime situation in the country, the acting police commissioner Clifton Hicken has made a fresh call for the public to work with the Guyana Police Force to ensure the safety of their communities and the country. During a ceremony to remember fallen ranks on Sunday, Mr. Hicken said police officers are often exposed to life-threatening situations, but they must continue to work in the interest of the communities they serve to ensure chaos does not reign supreme.
In the absence of the Guyana Police Force, there will be chaos. My advice reflecting on the deaths and the sacrifices here should create an atmosphere where the nation can work together with the Guyana Police Force to mitigate against any escalation that we've passed through during those days.
The top cop also issued a call for police officers to stand by their colleagues in the face of danger. He noted that being a member of the Guyana Police Force is not an easy task and commended persons who chose to protect and serve the citizens of Guyana. Mr. Hicken was speaking at the commemoration ceremony for fallen ranks. He said the police force will continue to honor its fallen heroes and pledge to lend any assistance outside of what is already given to the families of policemen and women who died during service to the nation.
Sacrifices that echoes far beyond those silent tombstones. Therefore, it should be recognized that being enlisted in the Guyana Police Force as an officer is not without its challenges. As it takes commitment, we must be able to maintain mental and moral strength to resist opposition and fairness of mind to protect the nation in the line of duty, and must stand by our fellow police officers in the face of danger.
The Guyana Police Force is also celebrating its anniversary this month. Due to the increasing demand for house lots and land for industrial activities, the Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell, today announced that the Central Housing and Planning Authority is seeking to acquire additional lands to meet the demand. He said in some regions, lands have been identified to facilitate further expansion of existing housing areas, but in other regions there is still a search to acquire new lands. He made the announcement today at the Housing Ministry's Dream Realized House Lot Distribution Drive for the east coast of Demerara at the Arthur Chung Convention Center.
The work continues for us to acquire new lands. On this year alone, our focus will have regions 4, where we have 4, 3, 1, 6, and a portion in 5. 10 is already identified. Region 7 is already identified, so those will be our focus regions.
The Housing Minister acknowledged that it is not an easy task to find additional lands for housing in some areas, explaining that the resources required to develop the lands are much more costly when compared to developing lots individually.
And simply because we have to keep going inwards. And as we keep going inwards, it means we're going closer to the conservancy. As we keep going closer to the conservancy, it means the land is not necessarily, the preparatory work required is much more than when we were out here. So that is why you will see us having increased costs.
More than $36 billion in contracts were awarded in the past months for the development of new housing areas. Further, as it relates to the distribution policy, the Ministry of Housing has assured that there is no discrimination in the allocation of house lots.
We do not take into consideration how your name sounds or how you look when we are dealing with allocations. And that is why I said look around here in this tent. And you're just a sample, right? There are others at the back. And you'll understand how it works. And so we continue to get accusations and persons with their own political alignment. We don't look at that.
Meanwhile, the Housing Minister has warned citizens who are still awaiting their house lots not to fall prey to persons who claim to have connections in the Ministry of Housing. He said the ministry is working overtime to ensure that everyone who applies for a house lot is given one. 8 months after Attorney-at-Law Tamika Clark was arrested by the Special Organized Crime Unit for advising her client to remain silent, the Chief Justice has found that her arrest was a breach of her rights under the Constitution. That arrest took place back in October at the SOCU headquarters. The attorney was released hours after the arrest, but the arrest saw criticism being leveled at SOCU from the local bar association and the Attorney General's chambers. Clark moved to the courts in a lawsuit against the state. The Chief Justice, in her ruling, also found that the seizure of the attorney's mobile phone by SOCU without lawful excuse was wrongful. Additionally, the court reminded that an attorney-at-law admitted the practice in Guyana is entitled to advise a client to remain silent when questioned by any law enforcement agency. The court also ruled that an attorney who is entitled to practice in the country is also entitled to consult with his or her client in private without the contents of the consultation being recorded in any way, including by means of audiovisual recording by any law enforcement agency in the country or elsewhere. The Chief Justice also said an attorney is entitled to advise their client to exercise the right to remain silent when questioned by a member of any law enforcement agency across Guyana. The court will make further orders with regard to damages in the case at a later date, the acting Chief Justice said.
The GRA will commence the registration of electric motorcycles from July 4, 2023. Present your electric motorcycle and the following documents to complete the registration: completed motor vehicle application form, purchase receipt or affidavit of loss, purchase receipt, and a valid ID. These documents and your electric motorcycle should be presented to the Licensed Revenue Office at Lamaha Railway Embankment or any of the 8 integrated regional tax offices across the country. It costs $750 to register your electric motorcycle, and the revenue license fee ranges from $1,250 to $2,500 based on the weight of the electric motorcycle. You will be given a 3-month grace period to register your electric motorcycle from July 4, 2023. Remember, you must be the holder of a valid driver's license to drive an electric motorcycle on the roadways. GRA, your partner in development.
on, champ? I passed here last week and this shop lock up tight.
Why? We come down with the flow, so we have to take a couple of days.
I can't deal with them kind of setbacks, man. Now. I just get a headache when you see I can't make me little bread.
I know them ways, champ. But thank God for NIS.
NIS? What you got to do now with NIS?
I mean, what I got to do with NIS? I register as self-employed and I make monthly contributions to NIS. So you see, for them days I lose, NIS pay me back for most of them days.
What? That's good. You know, I always used to believe that it's only people in big offices and so they pay NIS.
Nah, man. NIS for any working person between the ages of 16 to 60. And as self-employed, you get all the benefit as an employee, except for industrial benefits.
So what I do for set up this thing?
All I gotta do is visit NIS on Breakdown, or if you live in out of town, you visit any NIS closest to your location. And once you register and your registration complete, you can start making NIS contributions.
Alright, so what I walk with and like how much money I gotta pay a month?
I ain't gotta walk with no big money. All I gotta walk with is your birth certificate and any farm ID. And when you reach down there, ask for the compliance department.
Good. Thanks for the information, bro. As soon as I left here, I went straight to the NIS office.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
A total of 800 house lots on the east coast of Demerara were handed out today by the Ministry of Housing's Central Housing and Planning Authority as part of the government's housing program. Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, said the awarding of the house lots to citizens represents another milestone for the government as it seeks to clear the massive backlog of housing applications in the system. She said although the government set an ambitious target to achieve 50,000 house lots to be given out within its first term in office, the ultimate goal is not to fulfill a manifesto promise, but to ensure more Guyanese become their own homeowners.
You have seen the commitment from the government to ensuring that these lands are developed, that they are developed as quickly as possible, that allottees are identified, and that we help people move through the process from allocation to home ownership. Because predominantly, that is what the government intends to achieve, home ownership.
The minister said the government has heard the complaints of citizens about the locations of some of the lands, but she has assured that those lands will be transferred into habitable communities. She made reference to several East Bank and East Coast communities which were formerly cane fields and are now fully developed.
We also have the infrastructure program that is as a consequence of the housing program. Last year, we expended $10.9 billion here on the East Coast. That's the East Coast alone. That's the budget for 2022, the expenditure on the East Coast. This year, approximately another $10.1 billion in infrastructure projects. That is the road network, the culverts, the bridges, the water distribution network, and the electrical network.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, Sherwin Greaves, said development on the east coast of Demerara is happening at a rapid pace. He said the construction of the Enmore industrial site is creating a buzz in the area.
So being on the east coast right now is a great advantage to you because of the amount of things that are coming to the east coast.
The Housing Ministry has been developing a number of communities along the east coast of Demerara. In the world of politics, the leader of the Alliance for Change, Kemraj Ramjatan, has said that the AFC is not opposed to returning to the coalition with a partnership for national unity. However, he said the terms will have to be different.
But at this stage, I think stronger is together, or together is stronger, and that can bring us, like we did in 2015, an election result that can see the PPP out of office. But of course, we have to talk about all those terms and conditions that is going to show equality in partnership.
The Alliance for Change walked away from the coalition in December of last year upon the expiration of the Cummings-Berg Accord, the agreement it signed with the APNU back in 2015. Together, they brought an end to the People's Progressive Party 23-year reign in government back in that year, 2015. But with the coalition being unseated after a first term and the next major election scheduled for 2025, the AFC and the APNU are confronted with the question of whether or not they will coalesce a third time. Elaborating on the matter, MP Ramjatan told reporters that should the constitutional reform process, which is set to take place in 2024, lead to a constitutional amendment that would allow parties to coalesce after an election, then the AFC will certainly go it alone come 2025.
As you would appreciate, our existing constitutional arrangement does not make it possible for us to go it alone and then at the end of the elections to have post-elections coalition, right? So if in the constitutional process, we have like what used to be in 1964, the two parties that constitute a majority can then do a coalition after the elections and become the government. If that is then provided for in the constitutional reform process, we certainly is going to go alone. But since we do not have that constitutional provision, it having been abolished sometime in 1980, if you want now to be in government, you have to join up.
He said should there be no amendment to the Constitution to allow for such a post-election arrangement, then the Alliance for Change will be more than willing to coalesce with the APNU. However, he emphasized the need for there to be greater equality in the arrangement.
If it does not take it back to that scenario, we feel that there is, under the existing regime, a perfect example of going it together to win against or to change the government. You'd have to go it together.
Meanwhile, AFC Chairman Kathy Hughes said the party retired from the coalition to rebuild itself and has been doing just that. She noted that the AFC and the APNU have maintained strong relations in Parliament. Ms. Hughes said the AFC believes in partnerships.
From the formation of the AFC, we have always supported and understood the importance of alliances. It's not just by coincidence that our name includes alliances. And so the whole concept of coalition politics and alliances especially with smaller parties, non-governmental organizations, civil society, all of that was part of the vision of the AFC, and we've not done away with any of those commitments.
Under the revised Cummingsburg Accord, which expired back in December, the Alliance for Change got 30% of the seats secured by the coalition in the National Assembly, while the APNU got 70%. The previous arrangement saw the AFC getting 10% more. The Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit has been granted an order by the High Court, allowing it to further detain a 32-year-old East Bank Demerara man who was nabbed with cocaine before filing charges against him. Hurstelling resident Permadan Prasad was arrested by Kanu agents last Thursday after they found 23 pounds of cocaine in the car that he was driving. The man was arrested for questioning about the large amount of cocaine. The law only allows law enforcement agents to hold a suspect for 72 hours without filing charges. With that period expiring, Kanu moved to the High Court and was granted the order to further detain the man as the investigations continued. Kanu believes there are other persons linked to the large amount of cocaine, hence his decision to want to keep questioning the man. He could face charges by midweek when the extension for detention expires. The seized cocaine has a street value of more than $10 million, according to Kanu.
Did you know Guy Super 95 gasoline has an octane rating of 95, the highest rating available in Guyana? This premium fuel is known to enhance the performance of your engine, making it run smoother and more efficiently, leading to better fuel economy and improved performance. Choose Super 95 for more mileage and better overall performance.
Sorry.
Jack?
Hey.
Boys, where you going with all that speed?
Yeah, today's the 15th. My NIS contributions are due, and I ain't even get the forms as yet.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that you're not aware that all self-employed persons can now make their NIS contributions using the MMG app from the comforts of their homes and offices?
Really? And I just pay my bills using MMG,
Yes, Jack. And the thing's simple. All you have to do is open the app, select Pay Bills, Government Services, NIS, and Pay. They will prompt you to enter your NIS number, the month you're paying for, and the amount.
So I don't need to submit any form?
No. The only time you submit in a form is when you're making a claim.
Wait, I could make a claim too?
Oh, no, man. You didn't know that? Yes. All self-employed persons are entitled to all benefits from NIS. Well, except for the industrial benefits. And here's the good part. All of their forms, you can download them from the NIS website.
Well, girl, I'm really glad I bumped into you.
Anyhow, make sure you pay your bills later.
Later? I gotta sit down right here and pay my contributions first.
Take care.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall in the region. In an effort to increase regional travel to Barbados, the government has reduced the airport service charge from US $35 to US $20, a statement from the Government Information Service said. Tourism and International Transport Minister Ian Gooding-Edgill last week told Parliament that given the high cost of inter-regional travel, the 6-month reduction was intended to stimulate cargo travel to Barbados and by extension the local market. The temporary reduction is expected to end on December 14, 2023. Minister Gooding-Edgill also told the Parliament that his ministry was in dialogue with regional airlines such as Air Antilles and Inter-Caribbean to increase the number of weekly flights to the island. The island is hoping to see an increase in the number of arrivals from within CARICOM. A joint exercise which saw several arms of Trinidad's national security working together on Sunday resulted in 200 Venezuelan nationals being detained after it was discovered that they were undocumented. The detainees were held as they partied at a popular bar along the Western Main Road in St. James. The group, which included people between the ages of 17 and 46, were subsequently taken to the heliport Chagaramas. The exercise included members of the Defense Force as well as the Immigration Division. Officials carried out the raid between 1:30 a.m. and noon Sunday and interviewed the attendees who were reportedly guests at a birthday party hosted by the manager of the establishment and another business owner. Among them were several male individuals dressed as women. Officials said a final count resulted in 96 males and 95 females being detained, as they were suspected to be illegal immigrants after failing to produce any documents pertaining to them being in TNT. And finally tonight, international news. 6 people, including 3 children, have been killed in a kindergarten stabbing in China's southeastern Guangdong province. Police said they have arrested a 25-year-old man. The other victims are a teacher and 2 parents, AFP reported, quoting a local official. 1 person is also injured. Police have called this a case of intentional assault, but they have not elaborated on a possible motive. The attack happened on Monday, just as parents were dropping their children off for summer classes. The man was subsequently arrested. A store owner who works near the kindergarten told the BBC the surrounding area had been sealed off. As videos of the attack spread across Chinese social media, they spark outrage and shock. The stabbings also fit into a disturbingly familiar pattern. Firearms are banned in China, but the country has seen a spate of knife attacks in recent years, although there was also one incident where the attacker used a chemical spray to injure a classroom of 50 children. The BBC has counted at least 17 knife attacks in schools, colleges and universities since 2010. 10 of those have happened between 2018 and 2023.
And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.